Hey, it's Mel with We Can Code It. I'm continuing our series on understanding specifics of programming by looking at programming, test questions, interview questions, and the like. And this, again, is from indiabix.com. This is Java. However, we're going to translate this into C# in order to assist both our Java students as well as our C# students in one fell swoop. So here's question 11 from IndiaBix Java Programming Operators and Assignments. And again, they're asking us what the output of the program will be. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this over into Visual Studio in a C environment. This is C#. And I'm going to walk you through it here so that you have a good understanding of what's going on. You'll see some red squigglies immediately. That means, C# doesn't recognize this code that Java would. The equivalent to System.out.print in C# from Java is System.Console.Write. Okay, so let me go ahead and alter some of these so they're all in C# mode. But Java folks, just know this is the same as System.out.print. Now for print line, System.out.println, we have System.Console.WriteLine in C#. The other thing Java folks should note when it comes to this question is that in C#, main is capitalized, in Java it's lowercase. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look here. Our static method main, and if you haven't learned about static versus instance members of a class, you should watch my video on static versus instance members. So you understand. This is where the program enters in main, so it's a static method. Right here, we're instantiating an object. The object is of class or of type SC2. We are in SC2, so main is saying, hey, let's create a new object of this type. That's what this line's all about. Next line, we're calling S, which is that object, that specific object that we're utilizing here. It could also be Fluffy. If we wanted to change S to Fluffy, we could, just to FYI you. This is relatively arbitrary. We're calling start. We're telling S to start. Okay, so we go down here into start. This is a method that is an instance method on lines 19 and 20. All we're doing is initializing two integer variables, A and B, and setting them to 3 and 4 respectively. Then we just do a whole bunch of printing out. And here's where they're trying to test your knowledge. You might think they're trying to trip you up. I'm going to say they're trying to test your knowledge and your understanding of how C# or Java would interpret this write line. Would it interpret it? Especially when you have a plus involved, because plus means either concatenation or addition, right? And it's inferring what you want by looking in the right and following order of operations. Whatever it starts first, if it's addition, it will think, okay, I'm going to start with addition, and then when I see concatenation, well, I have to do concatenation. I can't add a number and a string together. And in this case, we're going left to right. If we had parentheses here, it would be a different story because we'd start here and do addition. All right, let's just take a look. Console, System, Console.Write, which is the same as System.out.print in Java. We're starting with a string literal value. This is a space. So it says, ooh, this must be a string. So instead of adding these numbers together, what will happen is these will be considered string values. They'll be converted to string values. So what happens here is it goes space, because it hits that space first, and that space is a string, it takes the rest of the statement as string values, okay? Because it will automatically convert those numbers into strings in this, in either your print or your write method. Got it? Okay, so it goes 7, 2, and then another space. That's what happens. Why? Again, C# or Java, it needs to infer if you want 7 and 2 to be added or concatenated together. And since the first thing it hit in the order of operations in here was a string value, it's going to consider these guys string values as well. All right, so that's what it prints. Let's go to the next line here. System console write A plus B. Now in this case, what are A and B? These are integer values. Because you have integer values there and no strings going along with it, it will infer that you want to add those two numbers together and then convert them to a string for it to print out. So that's what it does. It adds those two numbers together. So in this case, we're adding 3 plus 4, which is 7, so it'll print out 7. Next line, we're writing a space, then A, then B, then a space. This time, we're looking at concatenation. It doesn't add the numbers together, it just prints them out as strings. So we'll have a space, and then A is 3, B is 4, and then another space. Next line, oh, this is fun. Now we call a method. This method is foo. It's in the same class, right? So that's why we don't have to say s.foo or anything like that. It's in the same class. So we go down to foo, and foo returns a literal string value of the string foo. So essentially it replaces the method call with the return of foo like this. So again, we're starting with a string. Because we're starting with a string, let me move that back. The C# or Java will infer that the rest is concatenation, not addition, right? So it's going to say foo. There's not going to be a space. There's just going to be A, which is 3. There's going to be B, which is 4, and then a space. Now let's go down to the next line, and this is a write line, okay? A plus B. A plus B, we're starting with integer values, so we'll add those two together. That will come back as 7, and then it concatenates foo, because foo is a string. You can't add it, right? So it will return the literal value, foo. So it will end up looking like this, 7 foo. Let me move this back. Okay. And oops, let me put a comment there. All right, so at the end of then it returns here. And the program is done here. Okay, but let's write this all out, and let's write it in the start method. It's going to look like this: space 7 2 space 7 space 3 4 space foo 3 4 and then space 7 foo. New line. Okay, let's just double check. 7 2 7 3 4 foo 34 7 foo. Let's run it. Space 7 2 space 7 space 3 4 space foo 34 space 7 foo. Good. Looks the same as this. Let's go back to this question on IndiaBix and answer it. Well, here we go. This is my answer, D. Let's view answer. And indeed, it is D, and they're saying pretty much what I was saying in a different way. Okay, I hope that helps you out and helps explain order of operations and how println or WriteLine will automatically infer if you're looking for concatenation or for addition when it comes to a plus operator. Take care.